What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, and welcome to the very first video on health, diet, and fitness on this channel. And yeah, you guys have known that this has been coming for a while now because it was in the first video that I made in like 2 years, and I've been posting it on Twitter. And in fact, I got all of the questions that I'm going to be answering in this video from Twitter. So if you want to be involved in a video like this and you want me to answer your questions, or you want me to talk about specific topics, touch on specific things, give you my opinions, whatever it may be, Twitter is going to be the place for that. That link is always in the description below, so you can go check that out. You don't have to follow me or anything. You can just check sporadically to see if I'm asking for suggestions or questions or whatever it may be. So with all of that being said, let's get started and pull up the first question. In the Zone at XX in the Zone asks, how do I not look like an idiot / injure myself when using free weights for the first time? Now, the first thought that came into my mind is you probably would be best off if you had someone that was experienced in the gym that you could go with, because they can spot you and they can help critique your form and, you know, kind of direct you around. But most people don't have that. I've never had that. A lot of people don't have that, especially if you are in a circle of friends or family who are not the healthiest or aren't interested in working out or aren't interested in that kind of workout, and now you're trying to do it. You know, what are you going to do? You're on your own, or you're with people that are not interested in that. So we need a different option. So the first thing that I would suggest for you to do is to look up form for the exercises that you want to do. So for example, if you want to start bench pressing, if you want to start squatting or deadlifting, those are the 3 core compound exercises that most lifters should be doing, because you can lift the most weight. You know, you get the most bang for your buck with those exercises, but they're also pretty reliant on form. You can hurt yourself if you don't do them right. So look it up online. There are a lot of resources where you can learn technique, where you can learn form, where you can learn what you should not be doing, you know, tips on what you should be focusing on, like, you know, not rounding your back and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you at least have an idea, like a starting point. You're not going to be perfect the first time you do it, but you need a starting point, and then you can improve from there. Now, the key to not injuring yourself is to start light. Don't go and start loading up the bar. Don't pick up the heaviest dumbbells you can handle. Start extremely light. Start to the point where it's like, it's just stupid and nobody should be doing a weight that's this small. And it might not even feel like a great workout at first, but you need to get the movement down. You need to start getting a mind to muscle connection where you're used to bench pressing a certain way, where you're used to squatting a certain way. In fact, for stuff like squats, I would even do body weight first to get the form down, and then slowly add weight from there. The biggest thing that I've seen with people who don't have a lot of experience when it comes to lifting weights and injuring themselves is that they try to do too much too soon, and their bodies cannot handle it. You have to adapt slowly. That's how your body works. It can handle a lot, but you don't want to just go from, hey, I've never squatted before, to, hey, I'm gonna try 200 pounds. You know, that's not gonna work. Your form's gonna be bad, you're gonna hurt yourself, or you're just not going to get the full benefit that you would otherwise. So the key to not injuring yourself and not making a fool of yourself is start light, work up gradually, and look up form, look up technique, practice it. You can practice it at home in a lot of cases. You don't need to have a bench. You can hold pretty much anything. If you're trying to practice bench press, you know, you just want to practice keeping your elbows pinned in and your chest out, and, you know, pushing your shoulder blades into the bench, that kind of stuff. Real simple stuff. It will make a big difference, I promise you. And after the first couple of times, you can start adding weight, and you won't look stupid, you won't feel stupid, and it'll be a good time. The other part of this too is people don't want to start light because, you know, you don't want to look weak. But everybody has to start somewhere. Like, even the guys that are benching 300, 400, 500 pounds, they did not start benching that much. They started benching a very small amount. They started squatting a very, very small amount. And you have to work up to that. Nobody just starts being strong and muscular and all this stuff. So you're at the starting point. If someone is going to look down on you, or if someone is going to make fun of you because you're using lightweight and you're trying to improve and you're doing it the right way, you know, you don't need those people. And I know that's easy to say, you know, they're probably not your friends at the gym doing this stuff, but you're there for you, not for them. So you have to figure out a way to block that out and work on yourself. And if that means you need to wear headphones, if that means you need to wear a hood in the gym, I've seen people do it. I get way too hot doing something like that. And that's one of the reasons why I work out at home, because I just cannot stand the people. Everyone's staring, and it's intimidating even for people that know what they're doing because of all the eyes. So you got to figure out a way to block it out, and you got to figure out a way to distract yourself, because you're there to do one thing, and that thing is work on yourself. All that other stuff does not matter. And I'm rambling. We are getting way far away from what this question was asking. So we're going to move on to the next one. Jake Spall at Spallboy is the next question. He asks, what's the best way or time to mix up your workout routine when it becomes something you have to do instead of something you enjoy? So basically what he's saying here is, my workout has essentially become a chore. I don't really want to do it. It's kind of stale. I'd rather be doing almost anything else. And, you know, I find excuses to not do it, or wish I could find excuses to not do it. And it's cutting into my progress. So the main point here is, you have to find something that you want to do, because if you don't want to do it, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna find excuses. Life is going to just conveniently get in the way, and you're not going to make time for it. And if you do make time for it, it's going to be half. You know, you're not going to be all in. You're not going to get the results that you want. So the key is, you have to find something you want to do. Do you like playing tennis? Do you like running? Do you like lifting weights? Is it some other sport? Do you like swimming? Do you like cycling? Do you like going on walks? Do you like, you could be playing Pokemon Go, like just go out walking, or go out jogging, or whatever it is, get on your bike. It doesn't have to be like, I have to go to a gym and I have to lift weights, or I have to just run for half an hour every day or an hour every day. That is not what being healthy is. That's not how you're gonna get in shape, especially if you hate it. For example, I lift weights because I love to lift weights. I always have, I probably always will, and if a time comes when I don't like it anymore, I probably won't do it. You have to be in it for the right reasons. So, and everybody, I really believe that everybody has something that they love to do. There's some sport, there's something that gets you moving that you like. Not everything that everybody likes is just sitting down. There's got to be something. So experiment, use what you know about yourself to find what you like to do. And once you find that, then you can stick to it. Then you'll want to do it. I realize a lot of people don't like lifting weights, and that's why people fall off the wagon. They're trying to force themselves to do stuff that they hate. They don't want to be at a gym. They don't want to be lifting weights. They don't like being sore from, squatting as much as they possibly can. Or they don't like their lungs burning from, running a stupid amount every day. So some people like basketball, some people like soccer, the list goes on. You can find something that you will enjoy, and it will get you the results that you want. And then you can add small things in on top of that. Maybe add, a little bit of weights. Maybe you're just doing too much, and, lifting for an hour straight was just, that's not your jam. But hey, maybe I can lift for 20 minutes and, spend this other time playing the sport that I like, or going for a walk, whatever it may be. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, so the next question is from Neymar's Metatarsal, and he says, I read before that you just have dumbbells and a bench. So what do you do for legs? And do you think that it's enough for a great workout? Also, what do you do for triceps? Okay, so there is a lot to unpack here. So let's take this piece by piece here. First thing is, yes, I only have dumbbells. They're adjustable dumbbells, and they go up to 90 pounds each. So that's 180 pounds. And I'm a pretty small guy. I'm only 155 pounds at 5'9". So I don't need to be doing a stupid amount of weight to get results. I mean, all the results that I have up until this point have all been from those 90-pound dumbbells or less. And in most cases, I'm using a lot less than that to get the results that I want. How do I do that? It's about exercise selection. It is about the technique that you're using, and it is about the rep range that you're using and the amount of sets that you're doing. You know, what kind of workout is this? Are you doing higher reps? Are you doing lower reps? All these things, you know, how long are you resting as well? And how do you split up your routine throughout the week? All of that stuff comes into play when you're trying to figure out a program that will work for you. And for example, you know, one thing that I learned, especially watching people in a gym previously, they're using way too much weight and their form sucks. So yes, they are overloading the muscle with high amounts of weight, but they're injuring themselves, they're screwing up their joints. You know, this is not something that I want to do long term. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I want to keep doing this as long as I possibly can. So I'm not interested in saying, yeah, I bench 400 pounds and, you know, I can barely move because my shoulders hurt and my back hurts and I can't bend my knees and all this stuff. So let me go back to the question here. Yeah, so the other piece of equipment I have is the bench, so I can bench press, I can do incline, it's all adjustable and all that stuff. But you don't need more than 90 pounds. I mean, especially not at my size, you know, you just don't. So the next part of this question is, so what do you do for legs? That is a really good question, because the first thing you would probably think of is like, well, how are you like squatting and deadlifting and stuff with 90-pound dumbbells? That doesn't sound like it's really going to do a whole lot. And the main solution to that problem is doing Bulgarian split squats. They will kill you. If you don't know how to do the exercise, you can look it up. But basically, it's essentially a one-legged squat where you're putting, you know, you got one leg on the ground and one leg behind you, elevated on like a bench or something. And then you can hold dumbbells, and then, you know, you're squatting just with that one leg. So it's a unilateral movement. So you're going to reduce the amount of weight you can use. Like, I'm not using 90 pounds, and not because it's difficult to hold 90 pounds, but because it is just too much for me to do. They will kick your behind. If you've never tried them before, look it up, and you will be sore. You will be sore in places that you did not know you could be sore. It kills your glutes, kills your hamstrings. It's a great exercise. I use that as my main squat movement. And it helps with balance as well, because you have to balance, you know, you're holding weights to your side and you're trying to keep yourself upright on one leg and then squat and come back up. It's a great exercise. Cannot recommend it enough, so check it out. As for what else I can do with legs, basically after you do those Bulgarian split squats, you're pretty much fried. Like 4 sets of 6 with 60-pound dumbbells is enough to make me want to puke. So then trying to do other stuff like you could do walking lunges, you could do stationary lunges, you can do RDLs, which are Romanian deadlifts. You can do any number of things, sumo squats, goblet squats. You have a lot of options. Wall sits, I've been really enjoying wall sits a lot recently as a finisher for a leg workout. You will feel it the next day. And I know 120 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, you know, with me doing 60 pounds on each side. But if you try it, I guarantee you, you're gonna feel like you had a workout. All right, moving on to the last part of this question is, what do I do for triceps? That is much easier than trying to work out a dumbbell leg workout, which is probably the hardest part about setting up my routine with so little equipment. The triceps is easy. Depending on what your system is, you can set it up so that you are doing triceps on chest day if you have a chest day, or an upper body day, or a push day. Depends on how your program is. I do push, pull, and legs. So one day I'm doing pushing exercises like chest and shoulders and triceps. The next day I'm doing pulling exercises where I'm doing back and biceps and stuff like that, and then legs is self-explanatory. But anyway, so I'm doing triceps on a push day. I will do it at the end, towards the end of the workout, after all of the compound movements are over with. So any of your shoulder presses, any of your incline presses, any of your bench presses, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of different exercises you can do with dumbbells. One that I really like is the skull crusher, because you can do it almost at any angle. You could do it on the floor. You don't even need to have a bench, but you're essentially just having the dumbbells up like this, and you just extend your elbows, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, as for using a heavy weight, because that's a lightweight exercise, you're not going to be, using 50 plus pounds on those. But what you can do with a bench is closed grip, or hammer grip, I guess it would be. Presses where you're keeping your elbows tucked in tight, and instead of benching out like this, can't do it in this chair, but in a normal bench press, you're going to have a wider grip when you're doing dumbbells, but you can bring them in close and bench out this way, and that will work your triceps a lot. And you can do that on the floor as well, floor presses. It limits the range of motion a little bit, but it's still a pretty good workout for your triceps, and it allows you to use more weight, to overload them more. But there's a bunch of other exercises you can do as well. You can do kickbacks, you can do overhead extensions, which I don't like as much just because of the position that it puts your elbows in. It's kind of a weird position for your anatomy when you're dealing with, holding a weight behind your head, but you can do that. And then a lot of the chest and shoulder exercises you'd be doing anyway, like pressing, that all works your triceps. So we're really just talking about accessory movements here at this point. But that's an example of some of the stuff that I do for my triceps. You can also do stuff like push-ups. If you do a narrow grip instead of having your arms out wider, that'll work your triceps. You could do dips. Dips are a fantastic tricep exercise. The key when you're doing dips to emphasize your triceps over your chest would be to kind of get a more upright position, because your triceps are then, working against gravity there. The more you lean over when you're doing dips, the more your chest is going to get involved. So that's pretty much all I can think of for that. Hopefully that answers your question, so we can move on. Okay, so this last question is really going to be what is the word I'm looking for? An amalgamation of all of the questions that I got on this topic, because I got a lot of very similar questions here. So this is not from one person in particular, but a lot of people want to know, how do I gain weight? I am skinny. I am too thin. I don't have a lot of muscle, or I want more muscle, and it seems like no matter what I do, like I am just destined to be a skinny little runt, which I know a lot about, because if you look at pictures of me from like 5+ years ago, I was 120 to 130 pounds, and I was skinny as could be. It did not matter what I did or ate. I could eat all the junk food in the world, and I was just skinny mini. But now I am 155 pounds, which is better than 120 pounds. And so, we're making some progress here, and you can too. You do not have to be skinny. There is a way to do it, and I'm going to talk about it here. So let's get down to it. First thing is, you are going to have to do some kind of resistance training. It doesn't matter what, what you're doing with your food. You're not going to gain muscle if you are not doing some kind of workout for those muscles. So you need to be lifting weights or some kind of resistance training regimen. That's the easy part. Anybody can go to a gym or do it at home where you're just throwing weights around. That is the easy part. The hard part is, how do I get more calories in? Because that's what it comes down to, and is that right now you are not taking in enough calories. You can't be, or you would be gaining weight if that is your goal. So what I suggest you do is you download or find a way to calculate how many calories you're eating on a normal day. So apps like MyFitnessPal, apps like Chronometer, I'm sure there are plenty of other ones, or you could just do it the old-fashioned way with a calculator. I've done that before. But we need a starting point, because we know you need to eat more. You have to take in more calories in order to grow and gain weight, but we don't know how much that is. How much is more? And we could go by volume, but calories are really, what matters here. So we need to get a starting point. And I'm not saying you need to track your food every single day to get results. What I'm saying is we need a baseline, basically. Like, I'm taking in, give or take, around 2,000 calories and I'm not gaining weight. So, okay, let's bump that up to 2,300 calories. Let's bump that up to 2,500 calories, or, something similar. Now, with all that being said, there's basically 3 types of weight that you can gain. One of them is going to be muscle. You could gain fat, or you could gain other, which is essentially water weight and glycogen and stuff like that. We're not going to concern ourselves with that. We want to be gaining muscle. So part of that is doing the resistance training, but the other part of that is making sure that the increased calories that you are consuming are from clean foods. What do I mean by clean foods? I mean not processed stuff. I don't mean more junk food. I don't mean pizza and hamburgers and ice cream. And I mean, what a healthy food is. Like, don't do that stuff. One suggestion I can make to you is to start incorporating more liquid foods into your diet, because you can take in a higher amount of calories without getting full. I know for a lot of people, the hard part of taking in more calories is I'm just not hungry enough. Even with working out and being active, like, I'm just not hungry enough to take in the amount of calories that I have to take in order to gain weight. Or I don't have time to cook all these meals. So let's do a smoothie or 2 a day. And you can add in oats, you can add in bananas, you can add in dates, fruits, this stuff, peanut butter, flaxseed, chia seeds. These things will bump up, not bump up, but they are calorie dense foods that will bump up the amount of calories that you're consuming in a day. And you can do it quickly. You can down a smoothie in a few minutes and not feel like you ate way too much, even though you are eating too much. Like, your whole goal is to overeat so you can gain weight. So in addition to these smoothies, another suggestion that I'm going to make to you is that you find a way to add more calorically dense foods into your diet throughout the day, because the chances are that one smoothie is not going to be enough to get you the calorie count that you need in order to gain weight. So I'm talking about foods like peanut butter, and I'm talking about bananas and dates and pasta with little to no added oils or cheese or other crap on top of it. But these foods are high in calories, and you don't have to load up on the amount of them to get the calories that we're looking for. So that is a really good way to bump up your calorie count. Like, you can sit and eat a couple of bananas and not feel like you're about to puke from being full, and you get, several hundred calories. Whereas if you're eating other stuff that you would consider to be healthy, like, carrots, vegetables, fruits, other than bananas and dates, they tend to be lower calorie, and they are great for you, but they're not going to get you the calories that you want. And they're going to make you full too. So you got to figure out a way to balance the calorically dense foods with, my normal calorie count. I need to have it be where I'm creating a surplus of these calories. And yes, the brown rice and the beans and the lentils and the fruits and vegetables, you need to have them in your diet, and they really help, but you also have to add in these higher calorie foods or you're not going to gain the weight. You're just not. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, we talked about gaining weight and how you are going to want to choose more calorically dense foods. Losing weight is an entirely different thing, and you're obviously going to be decreasing the calories that you are consuming. Not a crazy amount, because you still want to have the energy to work out and go through your normal life, and you don't want to be miserable. But you basically want to do the opposite. So instead of choosing more calorically dense foods so that over the course of the day you're consuming a higher amount, maybe even with the same volume of food, we're going to do the reverse of that. So basically, you're going to be consuming lower calorically dense foods, like fruits and vegetables and whole grains, maybe not stuff like pasta as much, because that tends to be higher calorie, but beans, lentils, those things are extremely high in fiber. Those things are high in water content. They will fill you up. You'll get all the nutrients that you need. So you need to figure out what you like, and that might mean experimenting, because if you're used to a diet of pizza and tacos and ice cream and all this other stuff, you might not even know where to start. Like, what do I even eat? I just eat apples, and carrots. Like, I don't even know. I don't want to eat salad at every meal. You do not have to do that. That is not the way to do it. You need to find foods that you like from the selection of healthy foods. You can make lentils and beans and all this other stuff in so many different ways. It does not have to be salad. You can make curries, you can make sandwiches, you can make bowls. There's all different kinds of sauces, sweet sauces, spicy sauces. You can make them yourself. You can buy them store-bought if you can find them with a lower amount of preservatives. But you know what you like. If you like sweeter stuff, if you like spicier foods, and start preparing your foods that way. Start experimenting with foods you never had before. If you never tried lentils, give it a go. If you never tried Indian food, try Indian food. If you like Italian food, start adding in more Italian style dishes with better food choices in it. Don't load up on cheese. Find other stuff. Maybe you like tomato sauce. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of different foods that you can include. The key part is you got to get out of whatever has got you stuck where you are, because if you want to make a change, you're not where you want to be. So you got to get in that mentality of, I'm going to make a change, and this is how I'm going to do it. And we're going to start by adding in these foods that are good, and I've got a solid plan. I know how many calories I need to be eating. I know what my workouts are, and go from there. If you go in without a plan, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fall off the wagon, or you're not going to see the results that you want fast enough. You're going to get discouraged, and then you're going to fall off the wagon, anyway. So it's complicated, but it's not complicated at the same time. There's a lot of little things that go into it, but you don't have to overcomplicate it. You can find what you like, you can find what's good for you, and then just roll with it. You know what you have to do. Like, so many people try to make it this super complicated thing, and people in the field and people in the industry talk down to people like they just are dumb and they don't know, like, I have to eat less. Like, yes, you have to eat less. Yes, you have to eat less calories if you're trying to lose weight. Yes, you have to eat more calories if you're trying to gain weight. But people aren't dumb. People struggle with motivation. They struggle with real life problems. They struggle with anxiety. They struggle with depression. They struggle with, mental issues that aren't talked about. They struggle with a lot of things. A lot of things can keep you from reaching the goals that you want. And you can do it. That's just what it comes down to. You can do it. And hopefully some of the suggestions I made in this video can help you. I didn't go into that much detail on each thing because I was kind of jumping around topics, but maybe next time we can go into more detail on specific topics. And yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Actually, if you want to be involved in the next video, or if you have a suggestion for a topic, you can put it in the comment section below. You can send it to me on Twitter. Like I said earlier in this video, that's where I'm going to be gathering most of my information and talking to people and figuring out, you know, what I can talk about, what topics I can cover, what are people interested in, what do you guys want help with, or what do you just want to hear a discussion about. So hope you enjoyed this video. It was basically just me rambling for however long. But I will be back maybe next week with another video. We'll see how things go. But that is it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.